electronically. All of that we took to the election tribunal, where you will record on the register, on the result sheet, that the total number of ballots that you brought, 400. We will record that booklet men of 100 per sheet, 400. But when you are recording results for the person will score 620. So how can you score 620 when the total ballot papers that were brought was 400? There's another case where they said they brought 400 ballot papers. They used 200. If you use 200 ballot papers, there will be 200 unused. The person got 380 votes. Which will got votes, so it will give us 4. So they master the system so much that wherever you think you are popular, no, you can't have there. Inec is the enemy.
Please comment. I like that. Inec last yes. Thank you.
So you think what will win your election is to develop a program, convey your program to your constituents, make them believe in whatever it is you are pontificating, advocating, the practicality of the steps you want to take to help the community. You think that will win your election? But I tell you, sir, you first frustrate your voters by not showing up. When your voters are gone, they show up and they will conduct the election. Some people will even sign for your party. That you don't know. We saw it. That we saw places that our agents protested that they were not going to sign because what was going on did not reflect what had happened. As at the time they were giving us CTC of result, because they didn't give us the result. They said if you don't sign, they won't give you the result. As at the time we were getting CTC of the result, we saw the signature of somebody representing our party. When we go to the election tribunal, the same last year, they refused to respond to our letters. The same last year, they refused to accept the names of our candidates that we submitted for verification. They came to the tribunal that our candidates were not verified. And so on the basis of that, we didn't even have the right to even approach the tribunal. So that is to tell you the structure is multi-layered against us. But they typically never imagine that local governments will be a focus for anybody. Because what's there in local government? And local government is the most important, and that's going to form part of my recommendation to this body, that whilst we continue to make this campaign at national and international level, while we continue to expose the hypocrisy of Inec and all the state independent electoral commission, particularly Inec, as a body that does not obey the law, as a body that does not obey judgment of courts, we also need to focus on local government elections across the country. Local government elections are very important. That is where the rot deeply is. And that is why if you look around globally, you have 98%, 100% victory for the ruling party, because we refuse to participate. Oftentimes, the opposition party saying they are not participating in local government elections. That participation is expensive, it is worth it. Because all the nonsense that they do, the moment they see that we are challenging them, they watch over their backs. And we need to item. In fact, the place of interest for us now should be local government elections. That is where you will see, when INEC says they are not interested in local government elections, you will then see that the same INEC is coming to block you from presenting candidates and giving the people options at the local government. It's so bad. Oh, let's even assume that they are fighting us and we are in court. There are political parties that are qualified, that are in the list of registered political parties. Thank you. That are in the list of registered political parties that are recognized in Nigeria. Last year, I excluded them. Labour Party being one of them. Yes. AAC being one of them.
Yes.
The reason why they allowed us was because we stood up to them. And they allowed us in order to confuse us. We were in court the day before when the judge vacated the order allowing us, thereby creating confusion. So you don't know whether to go and vote or not to vote, whether to present yourself or not to present yourself. Now, those who are qualified, fully qualified, they prevented them. holistically, wholesale prevention, wholesale exclusion. What this tells you, sir, is that we need to be more strategic, and we should not be ignorant of the vices of the enemy. Remember, we said that the title is that the umpire is the enemy, and the enemy is very smart. The enemy is powerful. The enemy is rich. The enemy does not obey judgments of courts. So we should have a compilation of all the judgments of courts across party lines that Inec has disobeyed, and we should start distributing to even international donors, to Inec. Get international press involved, that Inec does not obey the law. Inec does not obey judgments of court. Inec has established itself as an umpire that is anti-people. And it's so sad that the umpire, the referee, is now playing for the other side. In the interim, every one of us who have been disadvantaged by this system should push for one thing. Professor Yakubu Mahmoud should go. He is not fit. If in conducting election, he has never conducted any election that is conclusive, everything inconclusive. He lacks capacity. Other activities that I've mentioned, in terms of financial monitoring and accountability by political parties, he has not done that. How many parties are holding their NEC meeting? Because your contribution of the political party is supposed to be submitted to INEC before registration. And INEC is supposed to ensure that political parties follow their constitution. They are not doing this, and INEC is not doing anything. Campaign finance returns that parties are meant to file after election. How far is INEC doing this? People that are not monitoring the filing of body side accounts every year, they're not interested in that. So, in terms of administrative responsibility, Professor Yakubu has failed. In terms of being a law-abiding agency of government, we've said this consistently, he has always disobeyed judgment court. The umpire is the enemy. I also suggest that the process for appointment of INEC chair should be reviewed. Because we have INEC chair and SIEC, State Independent Electoral Commission chairs, all over the state. They are appointees of the ruling. So he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So it is our view that a different system, like the way we use in appointing our judges, even if it goes through that process, or even if that body is responsible, that the NJC is responsible. We in the Youth Party have done a political reform agenda that is on our website, where we explain extensively the process that should be followed in appointing INEC chair. We are also suggesting that we should ensure increase in political participation with voters registration. We've seen so far that we have rulership of minority. Look at the election in Anambra State. Only 2% of the registered, 9% of the registered voters voted, representing 2% of the population of the state. That is not good enough. The last election, we have 85 million registered voters in Nigeria. Buhari won with 15 million votes. 15 million, what percentage of 85 million is 15 million? That's about 13%. That is still very low. So we need to engage people within our circle of influence, our family members, our friends, our families, our church members, to get their voters card. And in any way we can assist to ensure they get this thing, please let us ensure they get them. The last one is media campaign. INEC is powerful in the media world. Members of the press that are here know that. INEC has consistently traded some false representation to the public. Remember, political parties are too much, political parties don't have ideology, all of these things are lies. But they've traded on them so well and so perfectly that they are gaining the sympathy of the people. And the end result is to reduce the choice that people can make. And like we always say, if you are not at the table, you will be on the menu. If you are not at the table, you will be on the menu. If you don't fight, you have lost. If you fight, you may win. Inec is the enemy. The umpire is the enemy. We need to stand up, organize, strategize, and activate action plans in the press, locally, internationally, and in the courtroom. We also need to focus on local government to show the hypocrisy of Inec and last year. The umpire is the enemy. We must start acting now. Thank you very much.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always stand for right. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our victory. There is victory for us. There is victory for us. In our struggle for Africa, there is victory for us. Aluka, Victoria, out of the greatest Nigerian people, please let's have our seat. First, I want